the Sunday Night Anthem, delivered by Uber Eats.
Degrees on the Sunday before Christmas in Tampa, Florida. And we're at Raymond James Stadium, home of the reigning Super Bowl champion, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by the 7-time champion Tom Brady, facing the New Orleans Saints tonight, led by defensive coordinator Dennis Allen on NBC's Sunday Night Football. Good evening, everyone. Mike Tirico in for Al Michaels with Chris Collinsworth and Michelle Tafoya. Dennis Allen is in for Sean Payton, who, as you probably know, tested positive for COVID-19 on Friday. Just the latest in a season of setbacks for the Saints. They're on their third starting quarterback. They have a 5-game losing streak. If they win tonight, they slide into the last NFC playoff spot. Different story for the Bucs. They are in the playoffs as the champions of the South with a win here tonight. They are rolling on offense. Tom Brady looks terrific. Tampa Bay, the easiest remaining schedule right now, they are the favorites to repeat as Super Bowl champs. So, Chris, it was last year on their run where they won their last 4, the offense got going. They're doing it again, and this Brady guy, he's defying logic.
You know, I used to think, I don't know how many more times I'm going to get a chance to see Tom Brady play. Now he's probably saying the same thing about us, right? Because there's nothing on tape that says this guy is 44 years old. And you look at the last 2 years, no quarterback has thrown the ball deep more than Tom Brady.
So the one thing that hasn't gone right for him in New Orleans or in Tampa is games against New Orleans. He's lost 3 in the regular season. Why has that happened, and can it happen again tonight?
You know, this Saints defense is really good. Guys like DeMario Davis and Cam Jordan. And in the past, they've been able to pressure Tom Brady. They've been able to hit Tom Brady. And when they have, he has turned it over to them. They need a lot more of the same out here tonight.
Saints have won this division the last 4 years. The Bucs are the champions of the South with a win tonight. It's the Saints and the Buccaneers coming up on Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Untuckit.com.
Let's talk about your relationship with this man. Think about all of the emotions he's given you over the years. Probably made all of you cry, some happily, most despondently. And that's not to underplay the hatred out there too, along with lots and lots of fear. But if you want one emotion that embodies it all, I think it's envy of all that success. Man, just like so much success. Oh, and the worst part, you don't get off this emotional roller coaster until he says you can. So, buckle up. Again. Hey, at least the ride will feel familiar.
That's terrific. One of the stars of Succession, talking about the man chasing successive Super Bowl titles. His familiar face is here, but there's a familiar face missing tonight. For more on that, Here's Michelle Tafoya.
Yeah, Mike, when Sean Payton tested positive for COVID on Friday, defensive coordinator Dennis Allen's game preparation jumped into overdrive. Now, he was the head coach of the Raiders for 36 games between 2012 and 2014. But on this short notice, he'll confer with special teams coordinator Darren Rizzi for timeout strategy and game management. And as for the offense, it will be offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael calling the plays into Taysom Hill's ear. And Hill told us this will feel seamless because Carmichael called many preseason games with him in the past. Now, Allen told us this is Payton's team, and I'm going to do my best to have them physically, mentally, and emotionally ready to win. It doesn't get any bigger than the Super Bowl champs on Sunday Night Football. I'm going to go have some fun. And while Payton will be missed, he told his staff, go do what we have to do to win the game, and don't be thinking, what would Sean want us to do, Mike?
Easy to say, right, Michelle? All right, here's what's on the line tonight. Buccaneers will join the Packers in the playoffs, clinching a spot, and they'll stay right on Green Bay's heels for that #1 seed. On the other side, New Orleans, they're now one of the 4 teams in the NFC at 6-7. If they get to 7-7 for at least tonight, they'll slide into that final wild card spot in the NFC. Bucs won the toss and deferred, so Bradley Pinion, who's a touchback machine, will be kicking it off. Ty Montgomery's going to be back deep for New Orleans to return. Buccaneers and Saints. We know what happened, a stunner last year on Sunday Night Football. We'll see what's in store tonight. Tampa will start from the 25-yard line with the touchback, and let's meet the Saints offense.
Taysom Hill, BYU.
Alvin Kamara, Tennessee.
Marquez Callaway, Tennessee.
Tre'Quan Smith, UCF.
Nick Van Ness, Ohio State.
Adam Troutman, Dayton.
James Hurst, UNC Chapel Hill.
Calvin Throckmorton, Oregon.
Eric McCoy, Texas A&M. Cesar Ruiz, Michigan.
Jordan Mills, La Tech.
Mills, one of the 2 tackles starting for the regular starters. Ryan Ramczyk on the right, Teron Armstead on the left. Out tonight, 6th game without their starting tackles this year. Hill, nowhere to go. Now completes it. Marquez Callaway with the catch to the 33. Pickup of 8. Jason Pierre-Paul in there on the tackle. So Taysom Hill, who started this year in that Swiss Army knife role, that utility role, and then the Jameis Winston injury, Trevor Siemian ineffective as a starter. Taysom gets healthy. He's back in the starting lineup. You see, he can do it with his feet. Question is, how much can he do through the air? 8 in the air on first down. And the run with Alvin Kamara. The Saints offense is so different with Kamara back in there. First down to the 41-yard line.
They're just so much more confident looking, aren't they, Mike? I mean, these are some basic plays, but it is that guy that is the difference maker on this football team. He had a career high in carries a week ago, and they just rode him hard last week. One of the most difficult guys to get on the ground in the NFL.
He missed 4 games with a knee injury. Mark Ingram's missed the last 3 with COVID-19 and a knee injury. He's back in the lineup and on the field. Hill just gets rid of it. Nothing was open. The pressure was coming from the Tampa defense. Let's meet them now.
Ndamukong Suh, University of Nebraska.
Vita Vea, UW.
William Golston, Detroit Southeastern.
J.C. Pierre-Paul, Deerfield Beach. Devin White, GLS.
Levante David, Liberty City Warriors. Shaquille Barrett, Colorado State.
Sean Murphy Bunting, Central Michigan.
AA, Fayette County, Georgia.
Jordan Whitehead, Pitt. Carlton Davis, Auburn.
Missing Jamel Dean in that secondary tonight. It's been the story all year. A bunch of injuries on the back end. Ingram runs to the left. The front is there. This is such a good run-stopping defense. Levante David helps set up 3rd and long for the Saints offense.
Great players across this entire defensive front. Nobody's really been able to run on this football team. Jason Pierre-Paul, you know that name well. You know him as a pass rusher. Hasn't had a great year this year rushing the passer, but the all-around player, and it is difficult to run. Those 2 inside linebackers get there in a hurry, too, with Devin White and Levante David.
Tre'Quan Smith, the receiver, was late into the formation. Saints have a lot of issues here. Play clock running down, and Hill's going to have to take a timeout. it. Chris Michelle talked about it. No Sean Payton. Obviously, Sean Payton is the play caller and has been for 16 years, really 15, the 1 year he missed with the suspension. So you have that. You've got the tackles out. You don't have a game breaker on the outside. Deontay Harris continues with game 2 of his 3-game suspension. It's a big mountain to climb for the Saints on offense tonight.
It really is. And I think the most difficult thing, and you saw it already early in this game, they're thinking, all right, we have to prove to Tampa that we can throw the ball and that we will throw the ball, because they came out in that 5-man front trying to shut down the run. So they're not going to make it easy on Taysom Hill. He's going to have to push this ball down the field.
You know Arians' offense can add some points when they get going. 3rd and 11. 4-man rush. Hill chased by Sue. Just throws it to the sideline. A lot of bodies collide there on the sideline as it's incomplete. Trying to get it to Marquez Callaway at the end. Looks like everybody's okay over there for the moment. Saints will punch it away.
And I think for Taysom Hill, he's just going to have to settle in a little bit. They've been running some stunts at him to try and get him just moving, because a moving, running quarterback wants to move and wants to run. But I think for tonight, he's going to have to be a little bit more of a pocket passer if they're going to win the game.
Blake Gillikin, the punter. Jalen Darden awaits. Good hang time. Kick is 44 yards. Darden from the 16. I'll make a quick cut. Lost his footing, goes down at the 21-yard line. That's where the Buccaneers and Tom Brady take over on the other side of this one. Top scoring offense in the league on the field in a moment. Football is brought to you by Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Target, what we value most shouldn't cost more. You look at the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees for both teams, including Mike Evans for the Bucks, and just earlier tonight, the Mike Evans Family Foundation Catch for Christmas Scholarship Program, awarding those 6 students college scholarships. Mike Evans living up to why he is the team's nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year. Brady begins right away, and he's intercepted. It continues against the Saints. It is Lattimore with the pick, and on the move, down to the 13-yard line. They're going to whistle him back down by contact at the 26. But Tom Brady and the interception problem against the Saints continues. Let's see if Lattimore held on to it.
Ruling on the field is an interception, recovered by the defense, down by contact.
Right up at the top, and here we go right away. And Marshon Lattimore, I just have to tell you, the one thing that guy does is he undercuts almost everything thrown in his direction. Did he catch it?
Nope. Did not, and they change it right away on the field. After announcing interception down by contact, New York helps out. They got to look at that. They say incomplete, so it's 2nd and 10.
You know, we're so used to seeing Marshon Lattimore against Mike Evans and some of those great battles they've had over the years. And you want to talk about battles. That is a legitimate battle between those two.
So from the 21, Brady throws underneath, and it's complete to Leonard Fournette, who's become a big pass catcher in this offense. Gain of 4. So Tom Brady, and the story against the Saints, we mentioned it, Chris, the 3 games, the 3 losses in the regular season, 7 interceptions.
Yeah, and 3 of his 16 sacks came this year as well. And I think that close to an interception, you know, it's got to get inside your head a little bit, even if you're Tom Brady.
3rd and 5. Back out to Fournette. Demario Davis cannot stop the powerful Fournette from getting the first down.
One of the problems you get up in this A-gap blitz looking thing is it's hard to get out in your man coverage, so they're trying to fool Tom Brady. Tom Brady said, I've been looking at this for some time. I think I got that.
The 33, clean pocket. Brady completes it. It has been the target of late for him. Chris Godwin, the catch. Gain of 7.
One of the other great matchups in this game is going to be Tristan Wirfs, the young tackle, against Cameron Jordan, the tremendous veteran. And Jordan did get 1 sack, forced fumble against Brady in that last one.
Pressure picked up. Fournette again, able to reel it in. cannot get back to the original line of scrimmage, so he'll lose a yard or two. That's his 3rd reception and 65th on the season.
Yeah, nice job on the outside by Cameron Jordan. You'll see him come up the field here and get a little shot of Fournette just to throw the timing of that one off. So clearly Tom Brady tonight even trying to settle in a little as a passer.
And going quick, too. 3rd and 5 for Fournette again, and he is stopped. He'll be down by contact. It'll be 4th down. Carl Granderson peels off to make the play, and the Buccaneers, after a 1st down, will kick it away.
Almost every single snap in that series, I don't know whether they call him head coach Dennis Allen or what now, defensive coordinator Dennis Allen had pressure looks up on the line of scrimmage and forced quick throws, and they get the Buccaneers' great offense off the field.
So it'll be 4th down, and Bradley Pinion, battling a bit of a right hip injury, will kick it to Aesop Winston Jr. For Winston, it's his 2nd NFL game. Also a fair catch at the 18-yard line. That's where the Saints' 2nd drive will start. It's about 5 minutes in. Each team had it once. Each team has 1 first down. 2 series, American Auto and Grand Cru. Tuesday, January 4th on NBC, and then the next day on Peacock. Antoine Winfield, Richard Sherman, 2 names you probably know, 2 names in the Bucs secondary out. Winfield with a foot injury, Sherman nursing that Achilles. He came back to play last week, but out here tonight. Taysom Hill drive begins. On the other side of the 20, it's complete. Very close to a 1st down as the ball came out when Traquan Smith was leaning it forward. They'll mark him down right around that 1st down mark.
Well, I've never thrown a ball with a mallet finger before, but we're watching Taysom Hill tonight, and that's what he has. And we've heard of that with Russell Wilson this year as well. We asked him about it, and he said it really doesn't impact him that much, except that occasionally when he's taking that ball back, it does tend to move a little bit, and he has to change the splint there on the end of the finger 3-4 times during the course of the game.
Toss Kamara to the left. Patiently finds a spot to get the 1st down across the 30 to the 32. Michelle?
Yeah, mallet finger, for people who don't know, means he can't extend the tip of that finger. And so he's got to wear a splint for it to heal. And even though the tape on the outside is tacky, like a receiver's glove, he told us he has trouble anchoring that ball, as you said, Chris, the way he usually can. And that tape can slip throughout the game, so he expects to have to change it a few times. He told us he's about 2.5 weeks in to an 8-week recovery process.
Takes all 8. You can't let that splint off, otherwise the healing stops. Kamara made a beautiful catch since that pitch was a little bit behind him. And he stopped and could get no momentum. It's a loss of a couple of yards.
Yeah, this is the kind of play that kills you, though, if you're the Saints. If you're going to win the game for Dennis Allen's squad, you are going to have to be, as they say, on schedule, right?
Right.
You can't have negative plays on a running play. You need to be, 2nd and 6 and 3rd and 2 and set up a run by Taysom Hill, who, by the way, we don't think we've seen him run yet. So this has been a little out of character so far, but I'm sure we will as we go along.
Inside.
And 13, and Hill stays in the pocket, throws to Kamara. He's got the completion to the 36-yard line, so that's a more manageable 3rd down. Just like Fournette on the other side, Kamara, big role in the passing game.
Yeah, the good thing about having Mark Ingram back this week is it allows Kamara to go out and do what he can do, which is effectively play running back or wide receiver. He's going to get the matchup. But I think more importantly, if you're Taysom Hill, it gives you a chance to get the ball to your best player in space and just see what happens.
Devin White, Bucs linebacker on the inside, keeping an eye on Hill as he throws deep down the field to Callaway, who caught it at the 30. Marquez Callaway, biggest play of the night, to the 22-yard line. Gain of 42.
That was a pretty throw, wasn't it? That was pretty. It is going to go right over the top, but watch the touch here. He understood immediately when that safety came flying out of the middle, there's nobody back there. So if he can just drop it in over the top of Sean Murphy Bunting, he's not going to be able to see it. And beautifully done right by Marquez Callaway.
And kids are going to be running around taping their finger.
Right.
If you can throw it like that. Hill in his 5th year out of BYU. Terrific story as he has emerged. Chance to be the #1 guy. Kamara on the edge. He'll gain 5, maybe 6 yards. He'll try and Shoyinka in on the tackle. But a good first down gain for the Saints.
It's really interesting, isn't it? We're getting Kamara and Mark Ingram in the backfield together, and that time Ingram able to come out and get a good lead block. So a little change up here and able to get the ball to Kamara with somebody in front of him. We haven't seen a lot of that.
Second and 5. Ingram tries to go left, and enough, says Levante David. Veteran captain, 10 years in the league out of Nebraska.
So you want to go double teams, right? Fantastic idea. It's going to be great. Double team, double team. Unfortunately, you're going to end up with a guy that's going to run right through there and make the play. So great double teams, but one of you have to come off and eventually pick up number 54.
Ingram is the back next to Hill. 3rd and 7. And Hill throws to Callaway. Incomplete. He got squeezed on the coverage. He'll set up a field goal attempt for New Orleans.
Really a good enough throw right there. It looked like it was going to be right on the money, and I think they're going to be going after tonight. Let's see who that is out there. Is that, nope, that's Carlton Davis. On the other side, we're going to get a good dose of Pierre Desir as well. But so far, so good for Taysom Hill. I think he's looked pretty good throwing the ball.
Brett Maher from 39 yards out. 4th kicker the Saints have used this year. And he hooks that one in. You had concerns while it was in the air.
For sure.
He's got a sweet little draw, just brought it back in. New Orleans on the board first. 6 and 7. Chris, look at the difference in the odds if they win this game tonight. And you almost feel that as you've watched them the first 3 drives of this game.
Oh, there was tremendous energy. I mean, there's just no question about it. And, of course, Sean Payton's such a driver of that, you know, over on the sideline. But I think this was one of those rivalry games where you didn't need any help. You know, these guys are into this, and they feel like they can beat the Bucs, and they have beaten them on a regular basis.
Maher's kick. Darden from the goal line. Jalen Darden can't get to the 20-yard line. So it'll be a long field on drive 2 for the Tampa offense.
Tom Brady, Michigan.
Leonard Fournette, LSU.
Mike Evans, Texas A&M.
Chris Godwin, Penn State.
Tyler Johnson, Minnesota.
Rob Gronkowski, Arizona.
Donovan Smith, Penn State.
Ali Marpet, The Hobart College.
Ryan Jensen, CSU Pueblo.
Alex Kappa, Lumberjack Iron.
Tristan Wirfs, Iowa.
And that offensive line's been together all but one game this year. It's part of the reason, along with Brady and company, this is the best offense, points, and yards in the league coming into this week. And all passes so far. Brady throws. Godwin cannot hang on. Paulson Adebo, the rookie from Stanford, covering Godwin.
Yeah, we were talking to Dennis Allen, and we were asking about Tom Brady, and he says he looks like a conductor of an orchestra or something standing back there. And a big reason why he gets all the time in the world to be able to do that. But so far, these DBs from New Orleans, they've just been doing a job. That time, the rookie, Paulson Adebo, coming out there and a little pressure, a little hit. It wasn't a big hit, but every time you make contact on Tom, he knows it.
Another throw. And Brady going to try Godwin again, who got free. Found the space and is just shy of the 40-yard line with a first down. 22 on that one.
They made it look like it was going to be a wide receiver screen, and he was going to go straight out and look like he was going to block the corner on the outside. Instead, he just goes right through, and nobody ends up picking up Godwin going down the field, who has had a phenomenal year.
Keeping it in the air. Brady throws complete to Godwin again. Gain of 5. Here's the New Orleans defense.
Cam Jordan, C-Town's finest.
David Oyemade, Lagos, Nigeria.
Shaheem Tuttle, Midway Elementary.
Marcus Davenport, UTSA.
Quan Alexander, LSU.
Mario Davis, Arkansas State.
Paulson Debo, Stanford.
Malcolm Jenkins, The Ohio State.
Marcus Williams, University of Utah.
Marshawn Lattimore, The Ohio State.
C. Deuce, Florida.
And they're seeing a lot of passes. They're having to work 10 plays, 10 passes. That one broken up by Quan Alexander.
Well, and the reason why is that when you look at this run defense of the New Orleans Saints, #1 in the league, like 3.5 yards per carry, whatever it is. The Bucs are 4th in that same category, so we may see a lot of passing in this one. Now, obviously, you go, okay, I'll take Tom Brady if that's what this game turns into. But so far, here they are on 3rd down again, and they just need plays on 3rd down to get off the field.
35 for Brady. Pressure on, and they got to him. A sack. Cameron Jordan. Now 99.5 on his terrific 11-year career.
It's a great scheme right here. They are doing fantastic things because they're going to put Jordan on the inside, which means he is not blocked by Tristan Wirfs. He's blocked by Alex Kappa, the guard. And on the other side, Davenport's going to get there as well. So by the time you get to 3rd down, it's hunting season on Tom Brady.
Toughest got a sack in the league. They get to him. Pinion has to kick it away again. Winston from inside his own 10. Sideline, nice return. Winston stayed in bounds, and he stopped Winston Jr. with a very good return for the Saints. Taking it across the 40-yard line. A good field position as the defense comes up. Buccaneer fans have seen a lot of this. Cam Jordan sacking their quarterback. A quarterback at BYU and a good one, but he made his name in the NFL as a slash, as a Swiss Army knife. The utility, the ability to run it, pass it, catch it, get all those touchdowns in different ways. Some very rare company that he's in for NFL history since 1960. The players who have at least 6 touchdowns all 3 ways. Some great names there. Walter Payton, Marcus Allen, but all running backs, right? Not a quarterback. Taysom Hill really wanted the opportunity, as Drew Brees retired in our studio now, to win the starting job. Jameis Winston won it, but Hill worked his body, his mind. He approached it in the preseason that he was going to win the job and be the guy. He didn't win the job, and it's been a couple of months of adjusting to that. And now he finds himself with another opportunity to get the role. It's a 1-yard run there for Mark Ingram. And he was honest with us, Chris, talking about that, how it was tough early on in the season, but now he feels like he's ready for this opportunity.
Well, yeah, and Jameis Winston won the job early, and they won football games early, and then he didn't get an opportunity. Then he had a rough outing against the Dallas Cowboys, threw a lot of interceptions. But I think now the plan is coming together around him. It's going to be, let's run it with Alvin Kamara. Let's run it with me. Let's throw it to Alvin Kamara. Let's do a lot of things with Alvin Kamara and see what happens.
Gain of 1 on 1st down, 2nd and 9. Hit as he throws. Camaro with the catch there. He stopped at midfield and set up 3rd and about 3. He'll sign a contract for the next 4 years, around $40 million or so. But that can go up to as much as $80 million with quarterback incentives. Now, it's going to be really hard for him to get to the top end of that, but he's got the option to get paid more like a quarterback if he can be a good quarterback.
Well, here I'd like to see him be a quarterback like he used to be a quarterback, and the opportunity to run the football in this situation is probably at its highest point so far in this game. 3rd down and short.
Hasn't run it yet. From the pocket, delivers complete to Callaway. And a 1st down to the 43-yard line. So Saints sustaining offense here. Each drive getting at least a 1st down.
And one thing that gets him settled in is this patting of the football. He says it's sort of like his waggle, I guess, in golf. But one of the problems that he had with it is when he would pat the ball with that mallet finger, sometimes it would knock it off his hand in the wrong way, and he'd have to take it back and readjust. So, I mean, he's creating stuff on the fly here, and he's got the plantar fasciitis as well. I mean, he's a walking mash unit. Here he goes.
There's his first designed run of the night. Turns the corner, gets to 35, but there are flags. You can see the Buccaneers sideline helping the officiating crew, and John Hussey is our referee tonight.
Holding, offense number 83. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 1st down.
That's the tight end, Juwan Johnson.
No question about it. And you look, and I think the play was intended to go inside Juwan Johnson, And then when it bounced to the outside, you know, everybody holds. So when you're grabbing the guy, but you expect the run to go inside, it's one thing. But then when it jumps outside, everybody in the world can see that tug.
First flag of the night, 1st and 20. Saints back on their own side of midfield. Play action, Hill, deep shot for Callaway, comes back to it, and got it at the 20-yard line, a gain of 33. And Marquez Callaway is having a terrific opening quarter.
This is fantastic. He knows this other corner on the far side is coming, so watch what he does. He's going to stop him with the ball. Whoa, back up. Here we go. Back shoulder post. I don't know if I've ever seen that one before, but he did it, and he saw out of the corner of his eye that far cornerback coming across and probably would have intercepted it.
That 88 yards you see, that's already a career high in a game for Callaway. And we're still in the first quarter.
They've never had a 300-yard passer this year, the Saints haven't.
What are we doing? This on one? Yeah, go.
Hill's got 110 already, looking to add to it. Underneath throw, Kamara couldn't bring it in as he was battling with Sean Murphy Bunting. With a dislocated elbow week 1, missed half the season.
Well, I'm going to say that Taysom Hill's doing a nice job here so far because the Bucs are in their 5-man line, which means you've got one-on-one blocks across that offensive line with 3 backups basically in there. So you better hit that back foot and get that thing out of there. And so far he's been doing it. He needs help though. He needs his receivers to make all those plays tonight.
Adam Prentice, the fullback, is split out to the top of the screen. It's empty for Hill, who tosses towards Kamara, and it's incomplete. He was covered by Murphy Bunting. It's multiple times Kamara lines up out there. They treat him like a receiver. He sees a cornerback in coverage.
Yeah, he runs so many halfback options out of the backfield that they actually have like a sluggo out of that now. You're going to go fake and go over here. And it still would have had a chance if the ball had been left on the field. Get a guy like Alvin Kamara out there, just give him a chance. He's go, yeah, see, give me a chance.
Ingram's the back, 3rd and 10. And Hill's throw is caught, but Tre'Quan Smith can't fight for the extra 2 yards. It'll be 4th and 2. One of those decisions that Dennis Allen is responsible for now as we get to the end of this first quarter.
You know, and you sit there, and this decision probably was made before the game. You go, we're playing Tom Brady. We have to go for it. But now you look at the way the game's playing out. They're doing all right on defense. So does that change anything?
Stay tuned. We'll find out in a couple of minutes. After 1, Saints 3, Bucs nothing. And NBC Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. Geico. 3-0 Saints. We start the second quarter. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya on this warm night in Tampa. And Dennis Allen sent the offense back out there. 4th and 2. You see the run-pass conversion chances.
You got Kamara one-on-one outside.
Kill sign. One play to the next if there's even a play called. Not.
And Drew Brees back in the studio going, I taught you well, Grasshopper. Looked just like him, didn't it?
He did.
4th down.
So the field goal unit and Maher will come on. I mentioned he's the 4th kicker. Really, he's the 5th option this year because Will Lutz, who's been a good kicker for the Saints in the last 5 years, was injured in preseason, tried to come back and injured again. So it's been Maldrick Rosas and Cody Parkey and Brian Johnson who struggled in the game against Tennessee. And now they've settled on Maher. This is his 5th game. And from 35, the former Dallas Cowboy knocks it through, and the Saints, 4 seconds into the second, have a 6-0 lead. And we go down to Michelle.
Well, Mike, I've confirmed with Bucs officials that both wide receiver Antonio Brown and safety Mike Edwards will be back in the fold here in Tampa Bay. They're both serving those 3-game suspensions for misrepresenting their vaccination status with fake vaccination cards. Technically, they can go back on the roster tomorrow, but the team can also request an exemption for extra time to assess their 53-man roster, decide what other moves they want to make before these 2 additions. But a decision must be made by 4 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. Mike, Chris, Brown, and Edwards are back.
Yeah, Michelle, they have 3 games left, 2 against Carolina, in between that game against the Jets. So that's where Tampa will go, adding a piece on both sides of the ball, it looks like, as they get thrown into the final 3 games, trying to chase this #1 seed. So Jalen Dart to go back for the Buccaneers as Tampa will get the ball for the 3rd time on offense. And they have not run the ball. Tampa's run 10 plays, 11 really if you include the sack. All pass attempts by Brady. Dart's going to let this one go. It's back at the 25-yard line for Tom and the offense. Tom Brady's 44. Take it back a couple of decades when Tom was in his 20s, right? Well, go back to the games in his 20s. 110 games, regular and postseason, 167 touchdowns, 3 Super Bowl wins. Remember those numbers. Here's Tom now in his 40s. Fewer games, more touchdown passes, and 2 Super Bowl wins. So he defines 40 as the new 20.
And his hair looks better.
It all works for him. It all gets better for Brady. Everybody else is still chasing.
Conductor.
The 25 going to hand it off, and it is Ronald Jones with the carry, and he'll gain 3 to the 28-yard line. As Jones, who's seen his role decrease a bit, gets this drive started.
Yeah, you could see him going, okay, we're going to play number 2. And he said, Tyler, come in here. Come in here. Come here. Come in. Going to look at the play clock now. All right, I got it. And then I'm going to send Gronk right across the front and have him as lead blocker. And I mean, it's literally like having your offensive coordinator on the field.
2nd and 7, and Brady throws complete. It's Godwin who he's been playing the music. If Tom's the conductor the last couple of weeks, 1/3 of his targets have been to Godwin. That one for a 1st down.
Well, the other thing that we now know about Godwin is that he is playing that role that Larry Fitzgerald and so many other people, Hines Ward, has played for Bruce Arians. And so he's a blocker a lot of times. And Arians was telling us, look, I reward blocking. I have a lot of guys that have played that position that has got 100 balls during the course of the season. But he does everything for us, so we reward him with a football.
The 36 over the top. Gronk cannot hang on. Brady and Gronk have hit that hundreds of times. Cannot connect there.
Well, this is one of those plays that we have seen 300,000 times with Tom Brady.
Yep.
They pull the guard one way and they draw up. Here we go. Pull that. Let's get these guys and sneak in Gronk right behind it. I mean, that is 300,001 that we've seen that one now, and usually it works slightly better than that. But so far, the Bucs are playing a little like they played against the Saints in the past and not look like themselves.
36, it's out quick. It's Godwin one more time. He didn't get the block from Tyler Johnson on the edge. And that is no gain. Big hit on the sideline. So you mentioned it, Bruce Arians, of course, a terrific past as a head coach and an offensive coordinator. And some of the receivers you talked about playing that role, Hines Ward, 95 catches. Reggie Wayne, over 100. Larry Fitzgerald, over 100. And sometimes you wonder, how did the numbers get that high? Like you said, you do the dirty work, you get the gold at the end.
Yeah, I think 34 of those completions are on wide receiver screens. And as Arians said, I can throw those to anybody, right?
Right.
Doesn't matter. I can throw them to anybody. Guess what? The guy who does the blocking is going to get the easy completion. So he's up over 100, and he's having a fantastic year. But just like Larry Fitzgerald and Hines Ward and all those guys, it's reward time.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Chris, was down there for a second. You can see him pointing to his neck. His helmet came off in that play, so they're going to take him over, the athletic training staff, and get a look at the nickel, who had been out for a few games with a toe injury and returned against the Jets last week. 3rd and 9. Saints bring pressure again. Brady complete and a big hit over the middle. And Godwin is down and injured. Godwin took a shot there as he was coming across the middle. And Brady's right over there, first guy to check on his wide receiver.
Mike, I'm going to think about this before I say this, and I may say it on a comeback.
P.J. Williams, the hit, will step out for a second. Chris walks off under his own power, but obviously it's going to be a deep look medically. He's already worked his way over to the table. They put the blue tent up. You never know what kind of damage has been done. So the Buccaneers athletic training staff will look at a man who is number 2 in the league in receptions coming into this week. So Tampa will punt it away, and it's Pinion one more time. You saw Winston had a nice 43-yard return last time. This time it's a fair catch back at the 10-yard line. Long field ahead for the Saints. Long week in the NFL. Obviously, games were changed. So here's the schedule. Tomorrow, Raiders-Browns on NFL Network. And then the Monday Night Football game on ABC and ESPN in the NFC North. Tuesday, it is Washington against Philadelphia and Seattle against the Rams. Those games on Fox. Check your local listings, as they say. And then we move to Week 16 with the 49ers and Titans Thursday night on NFL Network. A lot of playoff import in those games. Drive 4 here for the Saints. Field goals on their last 2. They take over from the 10. And it's Ingram on the run inside. The Tampa Bay defense is there. And it's no gain. Chris, as a wide receiver, you watch that play against Godwin, and we know what we're trying to do in the league with keeping players safe, but I know it gets an emotion out of you when you see that play like that.
Well, it's a perfectly legal hit. Let's start with that by P.J. Williams. And what they've taught everybody is you can't hit to the head and neck area. So what happens? So they go low to try and avoid that. But if that's not a defenseless player, I don't know what is. And I have asked a lot of wide receivers. I'll get back to it.
Here's Hill on 2nd and 9 with the pressure coming. Gets out of there. He'll lose a yard. It'll be a takedown for Levante David, and 3rd and long coming for New Orleans.
But I've asked a lot of wide receivers. Okay, let's talk about this. They would rather be protected low than high, because that's their career. If they get their knee blown out, that's it for a lot of these guys, because speed is everything. So I'm not saying anything here, but I do think if you want to protect defenseless players, that's a defenseless player.
It's tough to find the balance when you're trying to keep the headshots out of there and keep that safe as well. 3rd and 10, Kamara through traffic, cannot get it. Murphy Bunting was there on the coverage, and that is a quick 3 and out from the Buccaneers defense.
And I feel like I should make one more point here.
Good.
And that is that when these defensive backs are trying to tackle tight ends, they will tell you we cannot get them down any other way
by going
other
low.
Than going low. So I get the whole argument. I always just flinch when I see it, because you hate seeing great players take shots like that.
And hey, you lived it. You did a bunch of your work in between the numbers. Gilligan to kick it for the Saints. Darden back deep. Bucks need a good punt return. Dart's got a lot of space here. With 32 for 11. Saints close well on coverage. Ty Montgomery on the stop over at the 43-yard line. Shopping days dwindling down with Christmas lurking on Saturday. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Hyundai. Christmas spirit everywhere, including last night in Tampa, the lighted boat parade along the Hillsborough River.
Now, seriously, can you look at a boat in Tampa and not think about Tom Brady tossing the Lombardi trophies? I can't.
Cameron Brate's best catch of the year. Bucks take over at the 43. 4th drive. 3 drives, 3 punts. Leonard Fournette tries to get him going on the ground. And he'll gain about 5 to the 48-yard line. Offensive coordinator for Arians, Byron Leftwich, former 1st-round pick from Jacksonville.
Yeah, and almost stunningly did not get an interview last year for a head coaching job. Super Bowl champion, you know, is the play caller. And I said, well, you got the disadvantage of the fact you have Tom Brady. Maybe that works against you. He said it didn't work against any other coach that coached Tom Brady. Good point.
2nd and 4. Fournette spins. Gain of a couple of yards of 3rd and short. You think of a Charlie Weiss, Bill O'Brien, Josh McDaniels over the years in New England. Mike Florio on Football Night in America mentioned with Urban Meyer being dismissed by the Jaguars. Maybe Leftwich, the former number 7 overall pick by Jacksonville in 03. Might be a name that comes up there as they begin their conversations.
Yeah, as Arians likes to say, he is a natural. He gets the plays in so quickly. They never get a delay of game penalty. And a big role for him out here tonight.
Well, pass plays early on. They've mixed in some runs now. Here's 3rd and 2. Brady will throw, and it's Fournette for the first down to the 44-yard line. Taken down by Marcus Williams, the safety. First down, Tampa.
Wow. For a running back to make that catch and take that hit and hang on to the football, that's an official wow right there. That is one heck of a play. Big time.
His pass catching has opened eyes. We asked him, you didn't get to do it much at LSU. He said, we're running school. We didn't throw it much to the backs. Brady's pass here is incomplete. Try to get it to Cameron Brate. C.J. Gardner-Johnson back in, and he makes the play. Talk about Fournette and the number of catches coming into tonight. 3rd on this team, 62 catches. He's added some here tonight. 5 of the Brady 11 completions. 4th overall pick, 3 terrific years at LSU, a New Orleans native. This pass game, he's really opened eyes this entire season.
Well, when Jason Light asked Tom Brady about Leonard Fournette when they were thinking about him, he said, oh yeah, he can catch. I don't know how he knew that much about him, but he did. But he did have a great story for us, though. I have never heard this before. When he was in maybe 5th or 6th grade, something like that, he was just a kid, right? He wanted to play football. He wanted to play running back. The parents in the league signed a petition to keep him from playing. They kicked him out of the league, so he had to go play with the 8th graders at the school, and he has been that much better than the guys he played against for a long, long time.
And then he waits. He gets to 9th grade, freshman year at St. Augustine High School in New Orleans. Starts right away and becomes the #1 recruit in the country. 3rd and 4. He's out as a receiver here. Brady over the middle for Evans, who hangs on. Mike Evans goes up and makes the contested catch for the first down.
Marshawn Lattimore all over his nemesis here, going one-on-one, and basically allowed him to come inside. They had some help with the linebackers, but when you throw it upstairs like that, and you have a guy willing to take a hit and that strong and can hang on, these are some big guy catches out here, and I think he got a little shaken up rolling that neck around.
Luke Hawley, Luke Hawley, Luke Hawley,
24-yard line, Fournette inside. A couple of yards. Onyemata with the tackle. Michelle?
Yeah, I've been watching Chris Godwin here. He came out of the tent. He appears to have had his right leg taped up. He's been sprinting, he's been cutting, changing directions, and spending a lot of time talking to the trainer. They seem to be making a decision as to whether or not he can come back in, but they haven't made that yet, so we'll keep an eye on it.
That's at least good to see. Testing it and running on the sideline. When he went down, it didn't feel like you were going to see that.
No, just that they let him out of the tent. I'm just happy to see that.
2nd and 7. 5 in the pattern for Brady. And he throws incomplete, trying to get it to Gronk. Bucs fans looking for a flag. Nothing there. The coverage from Quan Alexander.
Tremendous coverage. This is a classic Gronk move. He's going to go down, stop, act like he's going to arrow back out of it, and then keep going. And this beats a lot of linebackers. This move right here, not Alexander. He was all over it. And sometimes, Mike, that's what happens when it's a divisional opponent. You've seen that before.
3rd and 7. 4 rushing Brady, and they got him. And it's Jordan again. Cameron Jordan had only 4 sacks coming into tonight for the season, has 2 in the first half here.
Let me put this in perspective. Tristan Wirfs has given up 1 pressure. No sacks, no hits, 1 pressure in the last 5 games. And so far, Cameron Jordan is putting on a clinic with his move, with his hands, with his strength, with his bull rush.
Over 100 career sacks. Field goal attempt, Ryan Succop from 45 yards. Move in left, and he missed it. So the sack makes the field goal attempt longer. And the Buccaneers, whose offense was rolling coming into this game. 4 drives, no points. Saints on top by 6 with 6 and change left in the half. The fixtures continues Boxing Day on the networks of NBC. Matches featuring Liverpool, Tottenham, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea on USA next Sunday, 7:30 a.m. Drive starts with a 35-second designed run of the night for Taysom Hill, and it's a good one too. Gain of 8 out to the 43-yard line. So no Sean Payton here tonight, but if the Saints do win this, it would count as his win. He's trying to get to 150 wins, right on the top 10 for a coach. He's talking about with one team, current coaches, Bill Belichick, Mike Tomlin, who got one more today to 152, and then Payton, who took over the Saints in 2006. And is back home watching tonight after a positive test for COVID-19 on Friday. Alvin Kamara the carry, and a first down to the 47-yard line. I texted Sean just to check in on him earlier, and he said he was ordering food. It's really weird. I don't know if he's listening to us tonight, but I know he's watching.
Oh, yeah, he's taking in everything we say. It's going to help his coaching at some point. Hey, Sean, how are you, man? You know, but I think he's going to be proud of Pete Carmichael, who's calling the plays on this offense. It has been a nice blend so far of play calling. They haven't just stuck to the running game or anything else as far as Taysom Hill is concerned. They came out right away and were willing to throw it, and I think it has this defense off balance a little bit.
Run by Alvin Kamara for a yard. You mentioned Drew Brees back in the studio. Sean Payton here. Not here. January 1st, 2006, the last game of 2005. It's the last Saints game that you didn't have either Brees or Payton on the sideline as you look at Pete Carmichael, the offensive coordinator for this Saints team. And he's been here for a long time.
Oh, and he is so much the alter ego, wouldn't you say, of Sean Payton?
Yes.
You know, Sean is sort of the dynamic type A, and Pete's willing to do the rest.
2nd and 8. Hill scanning the field and comes back complete. It's just across midfield as he gets it to Adam Troutman. Saints glad to have him back after he was on IR with a knee injury.
Yeah, and probably the thing I'm seeing out of Taysom Hill tonight is that he is going through some progressions. Before the game, remember Drew Brees used to do all this stuff where he would throw the ball, then he would look at 4 other receivers and just practice. And I saw Taysom Hill doing some of that before the game as well, but it has translated into this game. A lot of times he has looked right and come back, and now Todd Bowles trying to figure out exactly how he's going to get it stopped.
35, Hill throws incomplete, trying to get it to Kamara, and Murphy Bunting, who has seen Kamara a lot in pass coverage tonight, was right there.
Yeah, this is that old halfback option route, and we have seen Drew Brees hit this one a million times, can break out. This time he breaks in, and this was just a miss. You know, this is a lack of time on task, a little bit behind, not impossible to catch, but just a little in front would have made that one really easy.
4th and 5, Gillikin drops it with the nose down. Takes the bounce, and Darden caught it at the 15 to preserve a few yards and take a hit around the 18. Bucks still scoreless, 3:37 till the half here in Tampa. So don't miss the Feel Great movie of the holidays. Sing 2 in theaters starting Wednesday. Buccaneers offense scoreless and missing their top 2 pass catchers, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, both out for the moment. Leonard Fournette with the carry to the 22-yard line against this New Orleans defense, pitching a shutout so far.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing a change of philosophy now because the Buccaneers go, we have to run the ball a little bit against these guys because otherwise we can't block Cameron Jordan. If he's just sitting out on the edge in pass rush mode, So the best way to slow down pass rushers sometimes is to turn around and hand it off, but nobody wants to do that against this Saints defense.
Back to Fournette, tries to jump through the hole, and that defense is right there, limiting the gain to maybe 3 yards. Michelle?
Yeah, Mike Evans right now is doubtful with a hamstring injury. When Chris Godwin was going through his sprints and change of direction down here, Evans came over and indicated that his right hamstring was bothering him, had a quick word with the trainer, came back in for a play, and then left the field, threw his gloves to the fans. Chris Godwin is still questionable with a knee injury, guys.
Wow. We saw Evans make a catch and come down and then go off to the sideline, but the hamstring was on the radar before that. So Brady without those receivers, who else? Dial up Gronk. Only but goody. First down for Rob Gronkowski at the 43-yard line.
Another classic matchup. Malcolm Jenkins, one of the longtime great ones. Here it is, just going to break out to the flag route here, if you will. And I tell you, it is nice to have somebody that you have completed that many passes and that many touchdowns to. Is Gronk the quickest guy in the world? No, but he is one of the great pushers-offers of all time.
Technical term. Fournette is stopped, loss of a yard. Jenkins that time with good run defense gave him nowhere to go as we hit the 2-minute warning with $1:57 to go. And the Buccaneers scoreless.
In the AFC North.
And Arizona gets dominated by Detroit.
It happens. Back to you, Mike.
All right, Maria, Drew, Tony, see you in a little bit. Yes, Bengals fans will enjoy Christmas morning in first place. How about that?
Not saying a word.
2nd and 11 for Brady and the Bucs. Out to Fournette, past Quan Alexander, down the sideline, across midfield. See where they mark him out. They'll be right at the midfield stripe to bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden the focus turns, right? We've got no Mike Evans and no Chris Godwin. Now we're seeing balls going to Leonard Fournette. We're seeing them to Rob Gronkowski. Tyler Johnson, another option. Scotty Miller activated for this game, the guy that had the big play right before the first half ended in the championship game in Green Bay last year. Speed guy.
He's active, and Parker's Brashard Perryman, who caught the overtime winner last week, is out with COVID-19. Brady throws over the middle, complete on cue. It is Miller, and it's a first down at the 45-yard line.
And it's one of the problems with Tom Brady is that, you know, it's time on task, and he wants guys that he's had a lot of throws with in practice, but Scotty Miller was on IR with that toe, but no options now. I mean, you got to get him back in there, and that was a big one.
Just Miller's 3rd catch of the year. Ronald Jones with the run to the right. Brady saw something, got to that play. Gain of 6, minute 15. Full boat of timeouts for the Buccaneers.
And they're so good. Ali Marpet pulling around and leading the way. He is their best run blocker on the Bucs. When he went out a season ago, it was a marked difference in this offensive line of run blocking.
4, Brady again. Tight throw to Cameron Brate. It is a catch for the first down at the 34-yard line. Demario Davis is trying to say it was not a catch. Timeout here, 51 seconds left. They take the timeout, so we'll wait for 30 seconds. Be right back.
Cases of anxiety in young adults are rising, as experts warn of the effects on well-being caused by the pandemic.
And we are back, and as we were away for 30 seconds, New York looked at that. They say incomplete pass. You mentioned Demario Davis was saying that right away, and you could see from that angle that Brate lost it and then scooped it with his body, obscuring the official from seeing in there. So in the last 2 minutes, it looked automatically, and the Bucs are the team that, let's see, I believe Tampa took the timeout there. In any case, it will be an incomplete pass. We'll back up Tampa. Marcus, and look at the timeout back.
5-5. Thank you.
Incomplete pass, which would have stopped the clock, so Buccaneers get the timeout back. But not the first down. It'll be 3rd and 4 at the 39-yard line.
Yeah, and you're still not really in field goal range here, so, and you probably are going to go for it on 4th down regardless, I would think.
Green 18! Green 18. Hawaii to 56. Watch 1. Green 18.
Totally orchestrating. Brady in trouble. Tries to get away. Cannot. Sacked for the 3rd time in the half. And that's Marcus Davenport, the team leader in sacks this year. The front line of the Saints defense doing a job in this first half.
Yeah, he leads his team with...
Charge timeout, New Orleans.
Leads his team with 5.5 sacks, and unfortunately for him, he is going to have Scotty Miller pop wide open, but Davenport just too much, too early, too soon. A delayed blitz that time by Demario Davis, and you heard Brady at the line of scrimmage and go outside of 56, Demario Davis, and yet it was Davenport the one that got him.
Chris, Brady's been sacked 16 times in the first 13 games. 3 times in this first half, and all 3 sacks on 3rd down.
I mean, you just have to say what an unbelievable job Dennis Allen has been doing against Tom Brady. You should write a book. Everybody would buy it immediately.
The pinion punt. Well done at the goal line to avoid going in. It is down at the 1-yard line. There's 38 seconds left. Story of this first half, the New Orleans Saints defense. We're back in 30 seconds after this from AWS.
Bobby, can you take us through that final play?
Bobby Wagner.
I just wanted AWS to stat that.
Stat that.
2010 touchdown.
Hey, get your stat, man. AWS stat. No.
Stat that.
Stat that, kid.
Terrific play by the Buccaneers coverage unit of note, because you see when Tampa got that timeout back, they have 3 timeouts with the Saints backed up here at the 1-yard line.
And an obscure rule to think about here, because if they have to punt out of the end zone, you can fair catch it and get a free kick for the field goal.
Taysom Hill does a nice job pushing the pile forward with the rest of his Saints team. That is a 5-yard gain. Wow.
This is fantastic. This is a scrum. Watch everybody. And I actually talked about this with coaches, because right now what we're seeing is rugby principles being brought in, and you get a guy the size of Taysom Hill at quarterback, and you get all those guys behind pushing. I mean, this is huge for them to get out of here and not allow or not be forced into a punt in this situation. Do it again.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You think of all the complicated and intricate play calls and all that, and that was just rugby. That's all it was. Officially a gain of 6. It's 2nd and 4. And this inside run gets the first down with Mark Ingram. And the Saints, without both of their offensive tackles, come off the goal line, get a first down when they need it. And Arians, no need to take these last 2 timeouts at this point. Take it to halftime.
Well, I can remember the Dallas Cowboys, they didn't even try to run the ball against this defense.
Right.
And yet lately, the defense of the Bucs have been allowing some rushing yards.
Tampa shut out in the first half for the first time this year. They were shut out by New Orleans here last year when they won on Sunday night. Stunner at the break. New Orleans 6, Tampa nothing. Maria, Tony Drew with a Toyota halftime. Maria.
All right, thanks, Mike. Just like we called it, huh, Coach?
Oh, wow. But you have to say hats off to the Saints. They're playing with more energy, more emotion, and that defense has been outstanding.
They're executing the game plan on both sides of the ball, and if Chris Godwin is not coming back in for the Bucs, that's a huge loss.
All right, well, coming up on tonight's halftime, we got the highlights of today, a wild one between Green Bay and Baltimore. The Ravens with another failed go-ahead 2-point conversion late, and we'll break it all down, and we'll show you how it impacted their playoff chances. That's all coming up next.
Want more stats?
Hey Siri, who leads the league in receiving touchdowns?
Our audience, any other use of this broadcast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Tonight's first half highlights are brought to you by Chevrolet.
Hill throws deep down the field to Callaway. Brett Maher from 39 yards out. And he hooks that one in. Pressure on, and they got to him. A sack. Cameron Jordan. Deep shot for Callaway. Comes back to it. Got it. From 35. Knocks it through. 6-0 lead. Brady tries to get away. Cannot. Sacked for the third time.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
No touchdowns in the first half, just the 39 and 35-yard field goals from Maher. Saints lead 6-0. Bucks shut out in the first half for the first time this season. They get the ball to start the second half. Only 2 design runs at Taysom Hill, 9 of 16 passing for 122. Cameron Jordan with 2 sacks, the 38th player since they've been keeping official track of sacks to go over the 100 mark. Saints offense had a good first quarter. Buccaneers adjusted, slowed them down in the second. So the chess match continues into the third. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya here in Tampa. Brady is without, at the end of that half, his 2 top receivers. Injuries to Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. A bit short. Jalen Darden will get going from inside the 5. And Darden with a good move. Flag is down as Darden falls down and then is stopped at the 28-yard line. With a flag thrown with that hole opened for him.
During the return, holding receiving team number 51. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's on the linebacker, Kevin Minter, and here's Michelle.
Well, Mike, both Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are both officially out of this game, leaving the Bucs with 3 healthy wide receivers. So Bruce Arians told me at halftime, those young guys have got to get open, and we've got to protect Tom better. Dennis Allen told me his message to his team coming in was play with passion and energy, focus on the next play and execute. And he said his defense isn't doing anything special. They're just doing that.
Thanks, Michelle. Evans and Godwin out. Rashard Perryman, as we mentioned, on the COVID-19 list. So it's Tyler Johnson, Jalen Darden, and Scotty Miller at receiver the rest of the way for the Bucs. Fournette's going to do a lot in this half to the 19-yard line on his first down run.
Yeah, if you'd have told me that the Saints were going to be winning and Kamara was going to have 31 total yards in the first half, I'm not sure I would have bought into that thing. But this has been all defense, and basically they've been doing it. Taysom Hill has done a nice job with completing some big passes, but they have been doing this with a 4-man front. They've been doing this with a 4-man pass rush and a lot of coverage in behind. And now, so even more pressure. Maybe the Saints would be willing to play a little more man against this group of receivers than they were against the 2 superstars.
This is 3 tight ends from the Buccaneers, and it's Fournette out of the backfield, chased by the rookie from Ohio State, Pete Werner, but it's a first down for Tampa with a run and a reception by Fournette.
Yeah, and sort of the same philosophy we saw in that first half, right? You get a sense that here's the man coverage, and just going to get Leonard Fournette out there and go pick up the first down. But throughout the course of the night, we have seen Tom Brady quicker than I think he would like to be. He has been throwing at short, quick passes and not able to hold the ball because of the rush.
25 Fournette. 3 touches to start. He gains about 3 yards across the 28-yard line.
You know, Demario Davis, one of those guys, you don't have to study hard. A lot of times the film, you know, you look at it, it's from way far away, but when you watch Davis play, you know who he is. He is just so lightning quick to the ball, dynamic. A lot of times when he blitzes, he'll just completely blow up the backs he's trying to run through. They always try to get offensive linemen on him. They do not want to see him on a back.
2nd and 7. It's Ronald Jones this time out of the backfield. He'll gain about 4 on that one to set up 3rd down. You talked about Davis, who was with the Jets. He's been with New Orleans now for 4 years at an all-pro season. They never misses a game. And Brady was talking about him. He compared it to Brian Cox. That's a long time ago in football terms.
There aren't many players playing today that could make that comparison. That is for sure. But the one thing that DeMario did tell us is that they felt like the middle of the field was where they got beat a season ago. Godwin really gobbled them up inside, and so far in this game, they've done a much better job of that.
3rd and 2, and Brady taking a shot downfield. Incomplete. Brady got hit at the end of it, trying to get it to Darden. Coverage was good, and the Bucs will punt it away.
Mike, here's exactly what I was talking about. Watch all the guys that drop back into the middle of the field. So they want Tom Brady to take these shots down the field. You are not going to bring some slants and crossers across there and beat them again, though.
And Lattimore, who usually sees Evans in these matchups with the rookie Darden. You can see the frustration from Brady. Pinion the punt. Hang time is good. He's up. Winston caught it on the run, and he's pulled down at the 32-yard line. Good job by Winston to catch it on the run. A lot of talking, a lot of frustration on that Tampa sideline tonight. Drew Brees, most accurate quarterback in NFL history, and the last 4 years, the Saints have led the league in completion percentage. But Brees is not here, so replacing him is an issue to begin with. And with Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian, it has not been as accurate. 58% last in the NFL to this point. 9 of 16 is Hill here today. He gives to Kamara for 3 yards. But that short passing game, in part, was an extension of their run game. And this offense just would churn first down after first down for the last decade plus.
No doubt about it. And then, of course, you had the fact that you had head coach and quarterback that have been doing the same thing together for over a decade. And so it was very efficient. And it didn't matter how far they pushed the ball down the field. But now this has been something a little bit different. And I think Pete Carmichael has called a tremendous game. Not a lot of points, but they're controlling this.
This is the 3rd run for Hill, and all over it was Devin White. They saw a little bit of this with Josh Allen last week at the Buffalo Bills. Maybe it got him by surprise last week, not this week.
Yeah, a lot of times when you're trying to pull an offensive lineman, anybody who gets penetration into the backfield can knock that guy off, and it's exactly what happened here. They were trying to get around the corner to get somebody on Devin White and just could not get there with Calvin Throckmorton.
3rd and 8 for Hill. Bucs rush 4, and Hill throws incomplete. Never set, trying to get it to Callaway. And the Tampa defense in the 2nd, now early 3rd, stepping up their performance.
This has been the stunt that really has bothered Taysom Hill tonight, and it is when they end up looping all the way around here, then it forces him to move. He sees a lot of action in front of him, and it really has just bothered him on multiple key 3rd downs in this game.
Blake Gillikin kicks to Jalen Darden. He's 46, Darden from the 20. Brought down quickly. Well covered. One more time, the play made by Pete Werner. He's had a couple of special teams tackles. Can Brady find a flow for the Bucs?
Alexander inside have been all over the field at the linebacker position, making plays, stopping the run. Alexander with a huge play on this big stop. So we have seen these two linebackers and their mobility have an impact, not just stopping the run, but in the passing game as well.
Good pair of linebackers on each side, and both are playing well. From the 22, this drive begins with Fournette running to the right. Leonard Fournette, helicoptered around, stays up, and gets an extra yard out of it, a gain of 8. Malcolm Jenkins tagged him, and Fournette's coming to the sideline.
Yeah, and I don't want to oversimplify the game at all, but now that they've gone to those 2 deep safeties, you're going to see Tampa start to run the ball a heck of a lot more. And boy, he kind of got in a split position there at the end of that, didn't he?
Helicopter, spun, stretched out. He'll get a break. Ronald Jones comes in. 3 backup defensive linemen on the field for the Saints. Here's Jones to the edge. Got rid of one tackle, but not the second. C.J. Gardner-Johnson injured earlier. Comes from that slot corner and makes a big finishing play. And Fournette's coming back on the field for third down.
Mike, this game is always chippy, but this one tonight has really been pretty clean, but we've seen some huge hits. This is Carl Granderson, who really does make flashy plays on the defensive side of the ball, but then it's going to be cleaned up by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who is always in the middle of something. You know, he is one of those guys for sure, and this kind of game fits him to a T.
Fournette started to walk out by the numbers and then came back, so it's still Jones. It's 3rd and 2, and Brady throwing middle, and Gronk couldn't bring it in. A lot of hands in the way. Gronkowski couldn't bring it down. And the Buccaneers continue to be flummoxed on offense.
And once again, they are flooding the middle of the field. Demario Davis, watch him here, is going to get up and just barely tip that ball. I thought Gronk was going to get it, as he often does. But that lurking linebacker or somebody with a presence in the middle of the field has bothered Tom Brady tonight.
Gillikin, punt number 6. I beg your pardon, Pinion. And Winston with a flag down will get it at the 35 and check the flag as he moves to the 36-yard line. Flag thrown a couple of yards past where the punt happened.
You know, Mike, the other thing we haven't hit on is the significance of this game. If you're a Green Bay Packers fan, the deck has basically been cleared if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get beat here tonight.
During the kick, holding number 53 of the receiving team. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
So that'll make it a long field for New Orleans offense struggling. Zach Bond with the penalty. 7 drives, no points. Can the Bucs find an answer against the Saints?
Norman, would you...
Olympics beginning February 3rd on NBC and Peacock. During the Winter Olympics, Super Bowl 56, 56 days away. Hill, first down pass, incomplete. Tries to get to Marquez Callaway, and he cannot. We have a couple of Olympians here honored. Declan Farmer, 2-time gold medalist. The Paralympics in sled hockey, and what a performance it was by Anastasia Zulitic from Largo, Florida, who won gold in Tokyo in Taekwondo, the first U.S. woman to win a gold in Taekwondo.
Are you going to be doing anything during the Olympics?
We might be there. 46 days and counting. Preparation has begun. 2nd and 10 from the 18. Hill trying to find a rhythm again offensively. This Bucs defense is matching the Saints defense for shutting down the opposing offense.
I think when they go back and watch this film, that they're going to tell Taysom Hill, you're protected, man. Step up in the pocket. He keeps running into pressure. He's got time. There's nobody there. That line's doing a nice job. But continually tonight, when he's been uncomfortable on the first or second look, he has just faded off to the right and actually run into pressure.
Ingram the back, Kamara in the slot, 3rd and 10. Hill gets away from Sue, chased by Pierre-Paul, and Brian Shalinka will get him at the end. So the pressure from the Bucs front shuts down Taysom Hill, and the Saints going backwards.
Joe Tryon Shoyinka. Watch this athlete. I can remember going to the Bucs practice and going, who is that? He is tall, he is lean, he is fast, and he just ran down a very fast man in Taysom Hill.
6'5", 260 rookie. Good set of wheels. He's become a good inside pass rusher for the Bucs in those 3rd down situations. Gillikin again. This is a bad kick with a good bounce and terrific hands from Darden to reel it in. Get it to the 40-yard line.
No question, the star of the night for me on the defensive side has been Cameron Jordan. It has been a matchup against a tremendous tackle in Tristan Wirfs, and yet after a few good plays, we have seen Jordan go to work. that one of the better pass rush moves we've seen all season to get Tom Brady on the ground. And not only that, when you start making tackles around Tom Brady's knees, it's another thought in his head.
He's without his main offensive guys, and Leonard Fournette now off the field. Jones is the back. Brady steps up, throws on the cross, Brate with the catch. Cameron's grab into Saints territory at the 46-yard line and a first down.
Yeah, they're going to go to the play-action pass again, and this time they're going to get past this lurker, get on the other side of him. Of course, you have to have good protection to do that. Good job by Tom to step up and get that thing in there.
Leading 19 of 28, 147 yards. 45, play action, Brady. Tries the middle again, incomplete. Bucs sideline wanted a flag. None called on C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Thrown for O.J. Howard. We'll throw it to Michelle.
Well, Cam Jordan told me the key to success against Tom Brady is hitting him. But Jordan said Tom's a 6'4" gunslinger and the check down king. The closer we get to him, the faster the ball progression is. Hit him once, he speeds up. Sack him, he speeds up more. And about the offensive line, Jordan said, I'm more worried about affecting the quarterback than I am about offensive linemen affecting me. I'm killing 2 offensive linemen, but the ball's already out. Tom gets O-lineman paid. But Cam Jordan is earning his money tonight.
Trick. Second and 10. Drive the inside run. A couple of yards from Ronald Jones. We saw Leonard Fournette last commercial break assisted to the locker room by the athletic training staff of the Buccaneers. So the top 3 reception guys for Brady this year: Godwin, Fournette, Evans in the locker room. The receivers are out. Don't know the status of Fournette just yet.
You know, personally, I think Cameron Brate's going to have to step up and play a bigger role here. And if nothing else, get a little space out there for Gronkowski. But the guy that I see working very hard is Scotty Miller. And I wouldn't completely look away from him in some one-on-one situations.
Sean Vaughn now in the game for the first time. Brady pressured, the cross is complete. And it's Tyler Johnson, the second-year receiver out of Minnesota, to set up 4th and 2. And by the way, Leonard Fournette has just been ruled out. Fournette out for the rest of the game. See if Arians goes for it here.
I think you have to, don't you?
6:23 left at the 36.
You're not scared to death to leave it to the Saints offense on the 36.5-yard line.
We need a little more than a yard here. So out of the Brady sneak range.
Gronk will be one-on-one, and so many times in his history, Tom Brady likes to go right there.
Back that way towards Gronkowski. Incomplete. No flag. And Saints ball. Malcolm Jenkins, the veteran, on the veteran Gronkowski. We've seen it a few times tonight. Little contact. No flag. Saints ball. And the lead. 6-0. In the third. 11-year vet on the right. All pros, Pro Bowls, champions. Those guys one-on-one. That time Jenkins won. And the Saints get the ball back, and they run it on first down. A hard run by Mark Ingram for 3. A lot of folks in the stadium were wondering, was it pass interference on Jenkins?
Yeah, they were wondering that. But we have Malcolm Jenkins. Watch all the hand fighting. But as a pro, whack. As long as you're not holding on any of that contact, the last shot maybe, but look inside at David Onyemata and what he did going against Alex Kappa on that play. I think it was a great play by Malcolm Jenkins and nothing else.
Saints trying to sustain some offense. Hill in trouble, throws it inside to Ingram. It's complete. He got rid of it just as he was about to get hit. The gain is only 3. It is 3rd and 4, 10 minutes into this third quarter.
Tryon Shoyinka now starting to make some noise against James Hurst. Remember, he's in for Teron Armstead, 2 of the best tackles in all of football. But so far now, with Shoyinka on the outside, we'll keep an eye on that one for you.
You see the breakdown. Anything it's been more than 6 yards, they have not picked up. This is 3rd and 4. Deep drop for Hill. His throw is incomplete. Tried to get it to Troutman, his tight end. Nothing cooking. Pierre Desir. His defensive backfield position forces a 3rd 3 and out of this 3rd quarter by New Orleans.
Great play by Desir, who's in there for Jamel Dean in this game. But as a quarterback, you'll take that all day, right? Your big tight end has inside rebound position against a smaller cornerback. Maybe didn't quite extend those arms out fully, but that was a big stop. This defense for Tampa Bay just keeps giving the ball back to the offense, and they can't do anything with it.
Punt number 12 of the game. 6th for Gilligan. This one better. Darden's got it at the 9. Made a man miss and returns it about 9 yards near the 18-yard line. So as you know, because of COVID-19, we've had some adjustments to the schedule. So here we are tomorrow, Raiders-Browns on NFL Network at 5 Eastern from Cleveland. Then the regular Monday night game in Chicago with the Vikings playing the Bears. Washington will play Philadelphia, and Seattle against the Rams. Those available for you on Fox at 7 Eastern. Check your local listings. And then Week 16 will begin with the 49ers and Titans on NFL Network on Thursday night. Playoff implications in all of those games.
That kind of week. You sit on the couch the whole week this week. That's great.
The 19, Ronald Jones tossed to the right. Jones breaks into the secondary. And he gains 11 yards in the first down. We mentioned earlier, Jones really has seen his role diminish. Chris, the first 3 quarters of last year, he was the guy until Fournette came on at the end of the season.
And he had some big plays, some big flashy moments a season ago, and he is more than capable. And you can only imagine where he is mentally right now, because basically Leonard Fournette has taken over, so Ronald Jones is fresh. He had 978 yards rushing last year and averaged over 5 yards a carry, which is huge.
Here he is from the 31. Jensen pulling it, paved the way. Down the sideline, Jones steps out of bounds. Stepped out at the 38-yard line.
Oh, they found something. They're going to have Gronk block down and get the athletic Wirfs outside and around. Here comes big Ryan Jensen as well. A little more speed out of Ronald Jones going down that boundary. So many times we've seen over the years, you know, Rob Gronkowski has all those great catch numbers and all that, but it's often his blocking that puts him in the truly elite category.
Sean Vaughn now the back, just 17 snaps at running back all season for Vaughn, second-year man out of Vanderbilt. Why is he playing? Because of all this in a big game. It was Godwin taking the shot across the middle, did not return after he walked off the field. Then Mike Evans wasn't necessarily in that hit, a hamstring injury with Evans out. And then Fournette, this carry early in the 3rd quarter got split, stretched, helicoptered, and had to be assisted by the athletic training staff. So 3 of the biggest offensive weapons on the #1 scoring team in the league out for the remainder of this game. Brady's got him on the move. And here's Vaughn, he couldn't bring it in.
What did they tell us about Tom Brady? If you drop a pass like that on Thursday, you're unlikely to get it in the game. And so when you're a young back coming in here, you need to make all those plays. A little lollipop to the outside, and sometimes those are the think about it catches.
Vaughn was a 3rd-round pick out of Vanderbilt in 2020. Core special teams got very few snaps. No receptions this year. Rarely targeted. Doesn't come through when called on there. Now it's 3rd and 8. Gronk split to the top.
A lot of space in the middle of the field on this defense.
It's Gronk. It's a first down. To the 27. When in doubt, those guys over the middle connect again.
Going to split those safeties. You know one thing, Gronk is going to be a force in the middle of the field, and this time Malcolm Jenkins, who got him on the go route last time, just unable to beat that big body position inside. And boy, you know, as poorly as it's gone for the Buccaneers and Tom Brady tonight, a touchdown, they got the lead.
And the Saints offense can't do a thing. Brady. For Gronk. Looked up late. It was almost in his lap. He almost had to catch it.
Oh, my goodness.
Michelle?
Yeah, I spoke with Gronk about his matchup with Malcolm Jenkins, and Gronk said Malcolm's a bigger guy. He's like me at safety, and he's got speed, so it's not like a smaller DB who's fast or a big linebacker who's slower. He's the whole package, height and strength, speed and size. That's why we match up so well. So my routes need to be well-rounded, crisp, detailed, good routes.
You're going to see a lot of them, I get the feeling, here in this fourth quarter. $1:56 left in the third. Jones on the inside with his bounce. He will be stopped. Williams comes up from the safety spot. Along with Gardner Johnson. Here comes a key third down at the 25-yard line.
Oh, you hit on it. This is a key third down. We have seen a lot of different looks out of Dennis Allen. We have not seen a lot of pressure kind of looks. I think they like to avoid the one-on-one stuff. So many times this is when Brady can be so masterful in the middle of the field. We saw him hit Gronk last time. Let's see what they do defensively.
3 times on third down, the Saints have come up with sacks. Their defense has been on the field a lot. 15 more plays. Brady, pressured, gets out. He's going to run for it again. Jordan forced the fumble. And the Saints recover with Lattimore. What a game Cameron Jordan is having tonight. The defense continues to answer, and they come up with the big turnover there.
Yeah, here you're going to see them try and take advantage of the fact that they've got on the outside 2 of their best pass rushers, and Cameron Jordan and Marcus Davenport. You overload to that side, so you end up with pass rushers inside. But once again, we see that lurking guy in the middle of the field, and the looks that Tom Brady wants to take advantage of, and that's not one of them, have just been disrupted all night long. What a game the Saints defense is playing. It's one of the best I've seen in a long time.
And that guy, Cameron Jordan, star game tonight. Design run, Taysom Hill. He puts his shoulder down and gets to the 22-yard line. Yeah, I don't know if Brady's the cape I want to tug on. You know,
thank you very much. I'm going to agree with that. But so far, you know, I mean, Tom Brady doesn't have everything on that magical belt of his either to work with right now. So he tries to take off and run, and Bruce Arians wasn't fully supportive of that concept a week ago.
As only Arians can in colorful ways. Enough of that. 8 on first down. Kamara tries to run to the edge. He is chased down. You know, we love offense. We love points. We are seeing some really good defense being played at all 3 levels both ways tonight.
Yeah, and one of the things that the Saints have been limited by is they have 2 tremendous players on the outside. There's the defensive guys. But their ability to block at the tackle position and get outside is not what it would be with Ryan Ramczyk or Tron Armstead. You know, those are the guys that allow them to get outside.
No scoring in the third. Off to the fourth. Saints 6, Bucks nothing. Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. On the line, here's what it's at stake for Tampa. They win the division that the Saints have won the last 4 years, and they keep pace with Green Bay for the #1 seed. Packers have the tiebreak right now, but they still have the same record. A Saints win, they move into the 3rd wild card spot in the NFC for tonight. But to get to 7-7, considering the logjam of teams at 6-7, 3 of whom still have to play this week, it would be a massive win for the Buccaneers. They're up 6-0 as we begin the 4th. 3rd and 2, Hill. This is a designed run, and he won't get there. Andrew Adams, who had good plays in the first quarter last week, comes up with the play there, and the Saints will kick it away again.
Sure did. They really executed this play perfectly. They're going to get out and around, pull around, and they just could not account for Adams coming out of the secondary. That is the unblocked guy, and he made the play. That was huge. That was a tremendous play by a backup safety.
Blake Gillikin and Jalen Darden getting a lot of airtime tonight. His 46. Darting from the 32 is taken down by Ty Montgomery. Running back, wide receiver, coverage, doing a lot of things. So the NFC South, strong neck for New Orleans because their head's been heavy. They've been wearing the crown for quite some time. 4 straight division titles for the Saints. The Bucs, they haven't won this title since 2007. That's in Jets and Lions territory. It's been forever since they've won their division, but it's theirs with a win tonight. Thought it would be kind of one of those games. There's no Sean Payton. The Saints have not been on a roll at all. They lost 5 games, and their only win in that stretch came last week. They beat the Jets. But their defense has come up big. Bucs are dealing with injuries on offense. They haven't scored. Ronald Jones the carry to the 38-yard line. His first down run.
Yeah, this play is becoming a problem. It really is. And they're doing it with wide receivers blocking on the outside. It's not even Gronk now. It's Scotty Miller out here. It's Tyler Johnson. It's different guys on the edge. And that is allowing their bigger guys, Tristan Wirfs and Cameron Brate, to get out and be lead blockers into the secondary.
Who, me? Brady's gonna come the other way. Ronald Jones, Quan Alexander couldn't make the tackle. Jones made another man miss, and he's a yard shy of the first down.
As soon as he said you, I was thinking the same thing.
This is what's been happening in this half. The Bucs twice as many plays, all the yards. The Saints cannot sustain. They have no first downs in this half.
I know they don't like Tom Brady running, but a quarterback sneak has been his go-to in these situations.
Need a yard. They'll turn to Jones to get in, and he will not. Check that, it's Vaughn. Vaughn was in there to try to get the 3rd and 1, and he was denied by Jalen Holmes from Ohio State. Arians going to kick it away here.
I'm just telling you, if they had gone quarterback sneak, they would have picked up 4 yards. But watch on the edge. Jalen Holmes comes around, and what happened was the interior 3 of the Bucs blew the Saints backwards. They're going to make that by a mile on a quarterback sneak. But instead, they go back to their 3rd string running back and get stuffed.
Brady has more conversions, 3rd or 4th and 1 than any active player in the league. 4th and 1 could become 4th and 6. Gunner flinched. Gunner on the near side.
False start. Offense number 30. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
That is going to be a hard watch during the film session, to watch Ryan Jensen, Ali Marpet, and Alex Kappa blow that defensive line backwards for the Saints and know what could have been on that play.
Now 4th and 6. Pinion's kick was not a very good one. That's just out of bounds, right around the 35-yard line. A lot of frustration on that Bucs sideline, in the crowd. 3 quarters and 3 minutes and no points to show. And Keyshawn Vaughn, a rare carry. Nothing doing for anyone tonight.
Stats powered by AWS, and there is a lot of power on this defense tonight. It has been Cam Jordan and others, because they have taken away the middle of the field from Tom Brady. A lot of lurking linebackers and safeties inside, forcing Tom Brady to pull that ball down, and then it has been sack after sack, and this is a team that does not give up many sacks.
First down for the Saints. They need to get a first down, and they will with Marquez Callaway right around midfield. It's a gain of 15. It's the first down for the Saints here in the second half.
Yeah, you take advantage of a defense now that is on their toes. Shaq Barrett desperately wanting to come in and get a sack, but you also have to be able to play that bootleg. And I'm just telling you, Mike, if I were calling some plays right now, number 41 would be getting a lot of action. I would be trying to win this game with my best player, Alvin Kamara.
10 touches for Kamara, 8 runs, 2 receptions. They fake it to him, keep it with Hill, and Taysom Hill gets a good first down gain at the Tampa 43-yard line.
But that's okay because they involved him here. Fake it to him. Great. Look what happens to the defense. They're all thinking what I'm thinking. I'm going to go get Alvin Kamara, and then it's going to set up a run by Taysom Hill.
They do not have game changers in the playmaking category except for Kamara. Piecing it together here. Hill now taking a shot. His tight end through the hands of Nick Van Ness. And incomplete.
Oh, that is a killer right there. He got in behind Devin White, and this was going to be the field goal to make it a 2-score game, and this ball was perfectly thrown. I mean, you cannot do better than that. That is money time. Think of all the seam catches we've seen Gronkowski make over the years. That one hurts.
We're talking to the Saints, 10, 15 yards, getting field goal range, making a 2-score game. That's what they're trying to do on this drive that started with good field position after the bad punt. Watch the play clock.
Cover 0. Who's going to have enough? Nope, they're dropping out.
No delay, pass thrown underneath, and the first down at the 37-yard line. Wow. Allen was trying to get a timeout on the side, and they were very close to the play clock hitting 0-0.
Look at everybody up here. They're giving a signal. Look, you just get out of here. But they all dropped out, so that when they're running backwards, great. Then you've got somebody just sit down in front of him. I'll take that right there. Thank you very much. Slips when he tries to turn around and come back.
That should have been delayed.
Lavonte David.
I'm sorry, but that should have been delay again.
Really?
It's like 0 and look at the ball. That was a long time sitting on 0 before the snap. The 37 slant. Callaway caught it to the 30-yard line. Gain of 7 on first down.
You've got that 1 beat of a second, and
right.
I know you know that rule, that it can go to 0, and if by the official he sees the 0 and then looks down, then they let it go. If not, they typically throw that flag.
It always cracks me up, that mechanic. Sees 0, then looks for the ball in the league where we stop everything super slow-mo for catch, no catch, and all that stuff. It's interesting. In any case, 2nd and 3. Kamara runs left. Kamara right at the line. I think that's going to be a first down. This is big because it takes time and it gets the Saints closer to a potential field goal to go up 9 points.
I tell you, give this offensive line a little bit of credit. Working against one of the best defenses and defensive lines in all of football. And Tom Brady knows a field goal is really tough because of the way his team's been moving it. But James Hurst, Calvin Throckmorton, Jordan Mills, all backups in there have been getting it done well enough.
At the 27, Kamara, and Ndamukong Suh was there. He started it. It was finished off by William Golston. First down loss.
And this is what you get when you get Ndamukong Suh. You get the speed to get inside of a backup tackle in Jordan Mills. He's been doing that for a long, long time, but you cannot have negative plays here. This is one, a field goal here is just huge. And the Saints offense hasn't been down in this part of the field very much.
2nd and 11. Hill throwing into traffic. That was nearly intercepted. Adams almost had a pick as he came over from the safety spot. He tried to get it to Ty Montgomery. And lucky that he's going to get a 3rd down snap.
Sean Payton just fell off the couch. Should have been picked. It absolutely should have. You want to be aggressive. You want to do big things. And once again, Andrew Adams looking like he's in the middle of the field. Just got a great jump on the ball. Just forgot to catch it. Oh. Talk about game-changing plays. We've seen a couple of them here on this drive.
From here, a field goal will be 46 yards. Bucks would love to come up with a sack. 3rd and 11. Hill chased. Gets yardage out of it to the 24-yard line. It'll shrink the field goal attempt to 42 yards to take a 9-point lead.
Love it. I think Taysom Hill did exactly the right thing there. If you love a throw, take it. If not, turn into a fullback. Watch the finish on this run by a quarterback. He needs every inch because, man, I got a chance to beat Tom Brady here tonight. I'm going for this.
Maher from 42 to make it a 9-point lead. And Brett Maher knocks it through.
Can you believe what we're seeing?
No, absolutely not. Halfway through the fourth quarter, New Orleans Saints, head coach not here, struggling on offense, but leading Brady and the Bucs 9-0. Aerial coverage is brought to you by Geico. Beautiful look at Tampa, Florida. It's been a great home. Obviously, the Bucs won the Super Bowl here. First team winning a Super Bowl in their own stadium. 6-0 at home this year. But tough sledding tonight. Injuries, good Saints defense. 9-0 halfway through the fourth. New Orleans on top, and Brady will take over the 25-yard line. Sunday Night Football is brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Winter Event, going on now. By Applebee's Holiday Gift Cards. And by 20th Century Studios, The King's Man, only in theaters Wednesday. Chris referenced the rivalry. Teams coming in, 60s for the Saints, the 70s for the Bucs. In this NFC South here, since the realignment, no 2. Brady on first down with his throw, and Gronkowski cannot hang on to it. Lattimore with the coverage.
Marshawn Lattimore is one of those all or nothing guys. I couldn't stop watching last night. I just watched his plays, and I probably spent 20 minutes doing it. Typically, he undercuts receivers so much that he either knocks the ball out of their hands or they get one over the top of him and they go in for a touchdown.
2nd and 10, Brady. Pass deflected up front and incomplete. So the pass rush, which has been getting to Brady, that time gets a hand up to knock it down. Shy Tuttle, the third-year man out of Tennessee.
Just fantastic. He got double-teamed. When you get double-teamed in a pass rush, you just start looking around and going, okay, where's the quarterback? You see Chris Jones doing that all the time in Kansas City.
This is one of those games that you need everybody, and the Saints have had a lot of contributions from a lot of folks, especially up front. None bigger than Cam Jordan tonight. 3rd and 10. Brady late pressure. Brady will go down for the 4th time tonight. David Onyemata with the pressure in the middle. Wow.
They have not played a lot of man coverage. Roby on the outside on Scotty Miller. Gotcha. Nowhere to go there. Jenkins on Gronk. Gotcha. Can't throw it there. Lattimore working against Jalen Darden. Maybe an opportunity there, but that thing closed in a hurry. David Onyemata, the first one there.
Pinion punts it away again. Their catch signal made. Run up and get it. Aesop Winston Jr. 40-yard kick. Saints ball.
Tom Brady's had a night tonight that he is not used to getting hit behind this offensive line, but time after time this evening, even when he got the ball off, he was taking shots in the pocket, and it's sort of like body blows in boxing. It has a cumulative effect to where you end up with a quarterback who makes mistakes. And so far tonight, a lack of guys open and the pressure up front, it has been a stunning evening. If you have watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady this season, yes, they've lost their key people. I mean, there's no other way to say it. But he also has been taking some shots.
6.5 left. Saints lead by 9. Inside run for about 2 yards with Mark Ingram. You know, you say if you watch the Bucs, and you're right, because the last 4 games they've scored 30 or more in each game. As I said to you at the very beginning, their offense is humming like it was the end of last year. But if you've watched the Bucs play the Saints since Brady's been here, we've seen this happen to Brady in these last 3 regular season games.
And what did Bruce Arians tell us? He goes, this isn't really a rivalry. We haven't won enough for it to be a rivalry. Now, they did win the most important one, which was the playoff game last year.
But the Saints in that game turned the ball over and gave them opportunities. Saints have taken care of the ball tonight. No turnovers. No games won. Shaq Barrett had a big jump start on that one.
Well, how much do you really want to throw the ball in this situation with the way your defense is playing? Because that defense says, let's throw the ball. But that's not Drew Brees playing quarterback, and you have a 2-score lead on Tom Brady and the Bucs on the road. And I think they're going to be just fine with playing fairly conservatively from here.
3rd and 8. Hill will throw it. And Taysom's pass is incomplete. I heard you. I did hear you, by the way.
I'm just doing my Sean Payton impersonation there. But don't. I love Sean's line, though. He really did with Dennis Allen. He said, do not think about what I would do. You have to call the game in the moment with what you believe. And tonight, from the beginning, they have been aggressive with Taysom Hill throwing the ball, and they have played that way throughout. So as a defensive coordinator, it's very easy to say, let's just run at this situation. But he's playing head coach.
This will be the 16th punt of the night, 8 per side. Blake Gillikin nose down, trying to get the bounce in his favor. And he did. JT Gray is down there to get it right around the 3-yard line. It'll be 97 yards for Brady. Gillikin in his first year as the Saints punter comes up with a big one. 5 to go. Start of the game, we lauded the Buccaneers offense, #1 in scoring, lauded their offensive line, rightfully so. They kept Brady clean all season. But tonight, 4 sacks. Cameron Jordan with a pair leading that charge. It's a 9-point game in the final 5 minutes. From his end zone, Brady incomplete as he tried to get it to Tyler Johnson. And again, a reminder what he's trying to do without top 3 pass catchers. Godwin took a shot across the middle in the first half. Evans went out with a hamstring injury. Fournette in the 3rd quarter, hamstring as well. Big pieces for tonight, and obviously in the last 3 or 4 games here for the Buccaneers.
56 to Mike. 318 again.
Again from his end zone, Brady, nothing there. Juan Alexander at the coverage. You just see the frustration mounting and building with Brady.
And if, in case you're wondering, I assume everybody knows this, that obviously the Saints right now are playing that umbrella sort of coverage in behind. So if Tom Brady is going down the field, he's going to have to do it 5 to 10 yards at a time. And as you look at the clock, you know that's going to be difficult. Be an interesting decision here, though, wouldn't it be? If you don't pick this up.
3rd and 10. Over the middle, it's caught. Johnson brought down as he was trying to escape at the 9-yard line. Bradley Roby. I'm telling you, the Saints have had so many different players pitch in and contribute tonight. And Brady looks over towards Arians. I think they're going to stay out here and go for it.
I agree with this. I think you have to. And I think it's part of the reason that Brady made that throw right there is to go get half of it, give himself a chance.
4:20 to go. 4th down from their own 9.
We get the Gronk and Malcolm Jenkins matchup one more time.
There it is at the bottom of the screen. Brady incomplete and a flag. As Gronkowski trying to break, the flag comes in. This drive will stay going, and Brady chewing out the officials.
Pass interference, defense number 27. Ball in place, spot of the foul. Automatic, 1st down.
It's a good call. There's really no question about it as Gronk comes out of this break. Grab the pant leg. That could have been embarrassing, but it's just a penalty.
It's Gronk. He would have made it cool somehow. Fourth penalty on the Saints tonight from the 15. Brady taking a shot downfield, looking for Darden. Incomplete. His feet get entangled with Lattimore, who so often is chasing Mike Evans for a deep ball when it's the Bucs and the Saints.
First time they really have had the safety drop back to the middle of the field. So Brady, he just reads the defenses so easily. He knew he finally had a one-on-one, and he just took a shot. I don't blame him.
Randerson almost got to Brady's arm as he threw it. You saw the tangled feet. Tangled feet, it's not pass interference. For the 15, Brady pumping like Roethlisberger, throw in, and it's caught by Johnson. Tyler Johnson goes up to get it, penalty flag down. Ball marked out around the 33.
Once again, they had that lurk in the middle of the field and forced Tom Brady to pump fake and come back the other way.
Pass interference, defense number 22. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
One of the more physical players in the entire league right there, and good job by Johnson just turning that thing back up the field. Didn't catch anyway, so it didn't really matter. But once again, you could get a field goal here and still be engaged.
Boy, Keyshawn Vaughn slips as he was trying to get himself available, and Brady, he talked about it. He's the expectation of the guys who just never see the ball.
You know, I just didn't think about it that much, but how much they missed Giovanni Bernard, who's out with the hip injury. This would have been his role here tonight coming out of the backfield.
20 seconds of life. Good. 319, again.
Brady had to go get that snap to his left. Loads and throws it incomplete. Gronk was blanketed. No rhythm to that play. 3:47 left in regulation.
Yeah, it's all going wrong here. Even Ryan Jensen's going to have a bad snap here, and so the pirouette from Tom Brady, and at that point, no vision on the secondary, so he had no idea where to throw that ball.
Dennis Allen couldn't catch it on the sideline, but the only thing that hasn't gone right for him tonight, filling in for Sean Payton. 3rd and 10, 4-down territory, of course. Brady pressured, escapes, and throws to the right. He's intercepted. Gardner Johnson cuts underneath. They've turned Brady over twice. 8 interceptions in these regular season matchups the last 2 years with the Saints. And the New Orleans Saints are knocking on the door of a headline-grabbing win in Tampa against the Chaps.
Got to take your shot, right? But this was fantastic by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He did the old Deion Sanders trick. Watch him trailing behind Scotty Miller, but he knows anytime he has to, he can break in front, almost inviting that throw and then picking off Tom Brady. He got one the last time they played in that win in New Orleans as well.
And Brady yelling over there at the Saints sideline.
Really?
The 42 Hill, he wants to stay in bounds. He slides inbounds there. Chris, they talked about it with us with the 3 games in the regular season. Timeout taken here by Tampa, their first. That Brady, he's so great. He's seen everything. And when he knows what he wants to get to on schedule, he gets to it. But if you can do it over and over, he gets frustrated. And that doesn't happen very often. It's happened here tonight.
Well, and the other thing that happens to him is that he gets down on himself. You know, because he always thinks he can work his way out of any situation. But here's Tom Brady on the move. That is not what Tom Brady wants to be. And there was only one receiver on that entire side of the field, and I'm pretty sure it was 3rd down on the play. So you got to try, you know. I mean, you got to take your shot. But that guy right there, nobody enjoys being able to stick his tongue out more than he does.
He was the one in Brady's face earlier. He said, "Don't tug on Superman's cape." I mean, he thinks he's Superman tonight.
That guy has no fear of Superman.
No, he does. That's true. That's true. Second time out taken as Hill runs. Ndamukong Suh with the tackle. So in this year, more than ever, that you never know what's going to happen. Who knows what happens when the Washington football team visits Dallas? A Dallas team helped by this game tonight with a Tampa loss. Start your football night in America 7 Eastern. Be sure to make your Sunday night 7 picks on the NBC Sports Predictor app. $1 million jackpot every week. Washington's game against Philadelphia pushed to Tuesday. So it's a road game in the division against Philly. It's a short week, shorter than normal, and it's Christmas, all that, but it's still Washington and Dallas.
It is, but we're seeing a little piece of history here tonight. Tom Brady, 313 career starts, and he's only been shut out twice, and not since 2006.
3rd and 8. This whole drive with Taysom Hill runs. Get rid of all their timeouts. It's exactly what they did. Jordan Whitehead, the tackle.
Those Microsoft tablets have taken some blows over the years.
And there's another one.
There is no answer on that thing tonight other than they got outplayed and they lost their weapons.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in fairness to this Saints defense and how great they played, they were shutting them out with those weapons.
That's exactly right. The first quarter and a half, and they've done it with those weapons in the past. And, you know, we start to think about what the implications of this are down the line. Still 3:24 here, but what are the Bucs going to look like here? How will these injuries play out over the next few weeks? Look out. Rush towards the block, and they may have gotten Gillikin's plant leg. If they did, that becomes roughing the kicker.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. Defense number 48, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
An injury, too, for the Buccaneers as well. Grant Stewart was the one who's called for the roughing there because he gets the plant leg. And the injury was to Patrick O'Connor, who was coming in. O'Connor, who had a big special teams play last week. So many injuries for the Bucs here tonight.
You know, we saw the Saints come in here and blow out the Bucs a season ago, right?
Yeah, on a Sunday night.
38-3. Mm-hmm. One of the most boring games we've seen. They just crushed them.
Yep.
And what happened? Tom Brady and the Bucs came back and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they did. Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically playing on the road. So is this the one that propels them forward again? But in that game, they didn't lose the number of people that they have lost here tonight. And so the bigger news out of this for Tom Brady and the Bucs is how are those guys? You know, how is Mike Evans? How is Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette? Go right down the list, because that's what makes the Bucs and Brady.
Has not been shut out since against the Dolphins in 2006. We continue to look at Patrick O'Connor on the field. It's Saints ball after the penalty. It'll be Saints ball at the 28-yard line. And the third-year backup defensive lineman from Eastern Michigan is helped off the field. He had a big stop on a fake punt last week with the Bills. The Buccaneers in that game did not do much offensively in the second half. Got the touchdown in overtime. You know, Chris, think about Dennis Allen on the sideline. We had talked about going into this game before we knew Sean Payton wasn't going to be able to coach the team tonight. Dennis Allen has done a sensational job with this defense against Brady, and really for the last couple of years. He's right up there with one of the longest tenured coordinators with the same team. And when we start throwing out names for potential head coaches down the line, run here by Mark Ingram. No timeouts for the Bucs to take. Usually it's the offensive assistants that we mention first. But Dennis Allen had his stint that Michelle mentioned at the start of the game with the Raiders in 2012, 2013, then the first 4 games in 2014. But it was DeMario Davis who told us, you know, really seeing him mature as a defensive coordinator and leader of this team. And he deserves a ton of credit for what we're watching here tonight.
Hey, the game management of this game has been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think back to that drive when they were backed up on the 1-yard line with 38 seconds and the Bucs had 3 timeouts. That first down really killed a lot of momentum and swung it back to the Saints as they went into halftime.
Ingram inside run here. Clock will continue to run. It'll run down to the 2-minute warning here.
You know, the guy that I feel for a little bit tonight is Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've been fantastic, holding them to 9 points, and he's sitting there looking out and going, really?
Yeah. Saints 217 yards. And lead here 9-0 at the 2-minute warning. And the other person who deserves credit, you see right in the shot there, is Pete Carmichael as well. When you talk about the game management, the play calling, we discussed it earlier, Carmichael. Sean Payton, of course, gets all the attention, and so did Drew Brees and Joe Lombardi, who's now the offensive coordinator with the Chargers, had a stint with the Lions. They have gotten a lot of the attention around what this offense has been for 15 and 16 years. But it is that man's steadiness, a real XO guy, and he is just constantly there. Install plays with the quarterbacks. And we've seen a few quarterbacks come through here. Teddy Bridgewater and Jameis Winston and Trevor Siemian, and now Taysom Hill.
And they all win, you know, but Pete Carmichael, you just got to love the guy. I mean, I probably interviewed him 25 times, and he never says anything other than, oh, we have a great head coach. We have a great quarterback. You know, these guys are really good.
3rd and 9, it's Kamara. Tryon Shoyinka, who's been very good on this defense again, pulls him down. They'll take the clock all the way down. So the Bucs are the #1 scoring team in the NFL. If you go back to 1970 and the merger, no team that's been the leading points team in the NFL has been shut out at home this late in the season.
One thing you know about Bruce Arians, though, is that he will take this loss and use it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's coming on Monday? He's going to say, okay, you guys defending Super Bowl champs, you think you're something special? We went out there and got our brains kicked in by a division rival on a night that was hat and t-shirt night.
Delay game penalty here. Hat and t-shirt, win the division. NFC South champs with a win, something they haven't done here in a long time.
Should have been a moment of celebration on national television, and the Saints were having none of it. And this film is going to get passed around the NFL like you wouldn't believe. They're going to spend hours and hours studying what Dennis Allen and the Saints did to Tom Brady tonight. Now, again, I want to emphasize the fact that he did not have his weapons out there. And that's obvious. But this is now a lot of games with Tom Brady, except for that playoff game in which they didn't have answers for the Saints defense.
4th and 19. They were hoping to get contact on the Bucs.
Offense number 53. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
But instead get the false start to back them up 5 more, which is really insignificant here. Just takes it back to the 42-yard line. And when we were giving out bouquets for the coaching staff, do not forget Darren Rizzi, the special teams coordinator.
They've had a
lot of punts here tonight.
Sir. They've had a big night on a lot of fronts. Their punt cover as well, kickoff cover was good too.
See, the Abbott postgame is coming up. Michelle will interview the stars of the game. And Chris and I look ahead to the Washington-Dallas game on Sunday nights. The Abbott postgame is coming up momentarily. So the picture here in the NFC, Bucs still at 10-3 with a loss. They'll drop to 10-4 with Dallas, who won today, in Arizona, who lost in Detroit. Congrats to a guy who's on the New Orleans staff, Dan Campbell and the Lions. Then the 3 teams there, 9-4, 8-6. New Orleans will jump to 7-7 and be ahead of Washington, who plays on Tuesday. Minnesota plays tomorrow. Philly plays on Tuesday. So those teams are going to have the chance to get to 7-7. And obviously Washington or Philly will, unless there's a tie.
The really interesting one, though, now is how far up Dallas jumps. With the way they're playing defense right now, and they're starting to get their wide receivers back, they're starting to get their running backs back and healthy. Now they need a little bit of that offensive line to come back healthy. But they have the tiebreakers with Green Bay if they could get it to a tie, right?
To the 32-yard lines of Scotty Miller. Dallas's advantage, 1 conference loss. Disadvantage, they lost to Tampa, of course, on opening night. So it's going to depend 2-way tie, 3-way tie. there's a lot to still be decided. Brady throwing far side pass incomplete for Jalen Darden. And Michelle did report earlier that Antonio Brown will be back with this team after the 3-game league suspension. And, you know, people wonder, well, will Antonio be back? What was said in the past about one more strike? Tony Dungy referenced that on the pregame show. As Drew Brees said on the pregame as well, you know, you wonder if you're going to get an injury, and that may be why you make a different decision and have somebody back on your roster. And adding to this receiving core is going to help this team a bunch. This is a run for Keyshawn Vaughn. And Vaughn will take it near midfield with 14 seconds left. And there is not massive urgency to squeeze off another play here for the Bucs. And that is it. The New Orleans Saints come to Tampa and shockingly shut out the defending Super Bowl champs and Tom Brady. 9-0. Dennis Allen fills in for Sean Payton and comes up with a huge win for the Saints, who are 7-7, and play Miami on Monday night at home, and then Carolina, and then at Atlanta. Wow. Coming up next, it's the Abbott postgame. But first, these messages from your local NBC station.